Should I post 3 times a day? Should I post 1 time a day? Should I post 1 time a week? Does posting too much hurt my page? Does posting not enough hurt my page? All these questions are circling around one question. How much should you be posting on social media? Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jude. And I've helped our clients receive over 100 million real views and over 6 million followers combined. I'm also the creative manager for Gym Launch, a company you may or may not know. And I'm also the creative manager for the CEO, CFO, and general manager of Gym Launch. My entire goal is to make less boring influencers in the world and help you stop being boring on social media and reach more people. I've grown my personal page to over 500,000 followers. Combined with my team and all of our clients, we've achieved over 5 million followers total and over 100 million views. And like I always say in my videos, I don't know all the answers to social media stuff. I'm just sharing what's worked for me, for my clients, and for my team. So, thank you for watching. So, thank you for being here. If you want to learn how much you should be posting, then this is probably the right video for you to be on. So this is a question that I get asked from pretty much most of the people that I have consultations with or work with in any capacities. How much should I be posting? And I wish I could give you a simple answer, but there are 2 ways that you could go about it that are equally as effective. And for my personal preference with my page, I always say consistency over volume. So if you have to pick a schedule that works for you that's more consistent, but maybe less on the volume side, then go with that. But if you can do high volume consistency, you're pretty much going to dominate everybody, except for some people, which we'll get into in this episode today. So like I said, there are 2 main ways that you can go about posting frequency. There's the way where you post a shit ton amount, a lot of content, just throw a bunch of value at the wall, and some of it's going to stick. And you keep repeating yourself, keep reaching new people. Eventually, some of them are going to go viral, and over time, you're just going to gain a ton of followers. That's one way you can do it. That's the way most influencers and entrepreneurs have decided to go. There's another side of it that I don't think a lot of people notice, and it's the side where maybe you post once a week or once every 2 weeks even, but the videos are so carefully crafted and they're so catered around what's trending and what's working that it doesn't really matter when they post, but their videos are so well crafted. They spend so much time making them. And they know exactly what they're doing as far as how to make it viral, that each time they post reaches millions of people, goes viral. They become a name for themselves by doing that. But both ways work completely well. There's times where I've posted 3 times a day and seen no results. And then there's also times where, like last week, I went 3 days without posting, posted a video, and it got 1.2 million views. It's more catered around the type of content you're making. And I know I always say that. It's like hashtag time of posting, frequency of posting. Doesn't really matter if your content sucks. Frequency of posting can help your suckish content maybe get more views here and there. But if your content sucks, that's the bottom line that you have to fix. But don't worry, I'm not going to go down to that in the video. You clicked on this video to figure out how much you should be posting. So we'll get into that. Or you clicked on the Spotify episode because that's what you wanted to learn. So I will not clickbait you. We'll get into it. So like I said, I don't know all the answers, but I can give examples. So let me give you an example of one of our clients. His entire strategy was just have someone follow him around with a camera, collect all the value, record and document every single time value is communicated out of his mouth, and just start posting an extremely high amount of frequency. This is also the same with the Alex Hormozi style, the Gary Vee style. They just pump out a ton of value, and it's also high quality. This is kind of the tactic that most influencers will probably tell you to do. That most content creators are just working a lot harder than you, putting out a lot more content. And the reason that they're growing so much is because they're just putting out a shit ton of content. They're pretty much outworking the algorithm and the luck factor of it, which is a great strategy, and I would highly recommend it if that's the style you want to go. The cool thing about that style, too, is if you have the means to make this happen, you don't really have to put as much effort into the short-form content you're creating. You could literally just have someone follow you around with the camera, record a couple talking heads in cool locations, get on a couple podcasts, and just really start stacking up the volume of content you have. Obviously, you have to be a person who says real value, otherwise this tactic is going to work if you're just spouting bullshit. Sometimes it is. There are people who just spout bullshit, who do this tactic, who are still famous. But basically having someone filming and documenting every single time value is communicated out of your mouth, cutting it up into a bunch of clips, and then just starting to post them extremely frequently on your social media pages. Now, let me get back to the story. We had a client who posted 3 times a day across all platforms, and they were that kind of content. They were like podcast clips, they were talking heads, they were speeches, they were conversations he had at events, stuff like that. And he gained over 20,000 followers in the last 90 days. It works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. And I think this is a great tactic for those who have the means to hire a videographer, to hire a team to kind of automate it for them. This is more for the business owners who are so busy with their business that they just want someone to film them doing it all and then just automate the process. In that case, I would recommend 3 per day across all platforms. 3 posts per day, maybe a graphic, a tweet here and there to make it 3 or 4, but just putting out a ton of volume across all platforms. If you're only posting 1 per day and someone else is posting 3 per day, by the end of the week, you posted 7 on one platform and they've already posted 21. That's literally 3x the amount you're posting, and over time, it's just going to continue to compound and they're going to continue to get more growth than you. So if you have the means and you have the resources to post 3 times a day without falling off, but that's really important, making sure that you can actually stay consistent with it, because there's no point if you promise yourself you're going to post 3 times a day and you do that and then you start falling off on your consistency. Firstly, when I was growing my TikTok, that reached over 360,000 3,000 followers, I was posting 3 times a day and I was starting from nothing. And at that point, when I was posting 3 times a day, I started quickly getting more and more followers and more views. And eventually I had like 3 viral videos in a row that broke 1, 2, 3 million. And that's when my following started to skyrocket. So if you do have the grit, if you have the time and you have the discipline to stick to it 3 times a day, I would definitely recommend it. More volume, the better. But like I said, I would pick a schedule that you are 100 million% positive that you can be consistent with and that you won't waver from. So if that's 1 a day, if that's 1 every other day, if that's 2 times a day, come up with a schedule, try it out for a week or 2 and see what you can commit to depending on where you're at in life, your resources, how busy you are. Stick to that schedule. But a rule of thumb that we use for our clients is at least 1 short form per day, because that's just enough volume where you still will get a viral video at some point. You'll still start to slowly attain followers and people who like what you have to say. You'll get a niche following because you're just never stopping putting out content. But also, like I said, if you have the means to put out more, do it. Now, here's the other end of the spectrum with that kind of thing. There are creators like this guy, Grant Beans, who literally posts once a week, sometimes even once every 2 weeks. But yet every single video he posts gets over 3 to 4 million views. You're probably asking yourself, why is that working for me? It's because these guys literally spend, I'm assuming at least, they spend a ton of time crafting their content. They know, seemingly to me, they know exactly how to go viral with each video. They pretty much have a cheat code because they've worked it out through previous videos. And they just spend a ton of time in between posts to make the perfect video, put it out, boom, they see the results. Think about Mr. Beast too. He's not putting out a YouTube video a day. He's spending tons of time and effort making a quality YouTube video, but he knows exactly the formula to go viral, so he can kind of post whenever he wants. As opposed to someone like Alex Hormozy and Gary Vee, who's putting out 500 plus pieces of content a week. And like I said, both strategies work. It just depends on what method you want to go about. If you really want to dive in, and this way is going to be a lot harder for you at the beginning to figure out what works. If you want to take a couple weeks to really plan and really craft a video, there's a chance it's going to flop because you don't know what you're doing, which is going to suck if you spent all that time on one video. And you would have been missing out on a ton of days where you could have been putting out content and could have been getting followers. So this method really only works once you're super positive and absolutely certain that you can go viral when doing that. If that's the route you want to go, but you're starting at 0. A good method would be probably starting with the volume game, learning social media, getting those feedback loops, figuring out what's working, what's not working, how to adjust, how to get better, how to plan, how to grow. Once you figure all that out through experience, because you can only watch so many YouTube videos, so many gurus, you won't really know unless you try it. So try it, learn what works, and then if you grow a little bit of a following through that, and you also get the experience, that's the important part. You get the experience of what will work, and you're starting to learn. Then you can maybe try spreading out time between videos and seeing what will work. So it really depends on what method you want to go. But like I said, at the beginning, to learn the most, and this isn't pretty much any skill that you'll do in life, you can't really get good without doing a lot of it. You got to get the reps in, you got to get better. Hopefully that put an end to that question that's been holding you back from making content, because I hear all those questions all the time. Oh, I haven't started making content. I don't know how much to post, what to post. This channel is going to give you no reason to not start. So now you know how much you should be starting. If you're in the beginning stages, I would recommend at least once a day on all short form platforms. That's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's YouTube Shorts, that's Facebook Reels. Maybe if you're feeling a little eccentric, you can even get on Clapper or something like that. But definitely the core 4, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Start posting once a day across all of those, and that'll be a good place for you to start and kind of gauge what you'll be able to commit to as far as content goes. And a great hack that I like to use for my clients in order to pump out multiple pieces of content a day, and in order to make it diverse, because you don't want to fall into the mundane where you're only posting talking heads and nothing else, because then it's going to get repetitive and you'd probably be growing at a much slower rate than if you were to just be diverse. If you were to keep doing the same stuff over and over and over again, your followers are just going to get bored of it. Yes, you'll reach new people, but you'll be growing at a much slower rate, because like I said, algorithm isn't some sort of crazy algorithm. The algorithm is just people's attention span. Basically, how the algorithm works, to my knowledge, when you post a video, it shows it to a small group of people within your following. It takes how that small group reacts to dictate whether it's worth a larger group. It takes how that group reacts to a larger group. It takes how that judges how that group reacts to dictate whether it should be to a large group. And then once the attention of the group that it shows starts to slow, then it stops showing your stuff to people. And that's probably where you get capped. They've shown it to a group of people that didn't react in a way that Instagram or TikTok or YouTube felt would keep people on the app if they scrolled on your video. So doing the same stuff over and over and over again is a quick way to get people bored and to scroll quickly when they see your stuff. So if you watch this video on how to make your stuff less boring and how to create diversity, that'll help you a lot with making your content less boring and how to get out of the talking head 200 view jail trap. But here's another hack. The 3 or 4 main things that I like to post for a client to create diversity within their page is talking heads. Yes, I know I said to hate talking heads, but that's just a way for me to generalize any form of video where they're talking to the camera. User-generated content, which is usually B-roll videos, skits, something that doesn't have to do with them directly communicating value, which I also will link this video to so that you can watch it to learn how to create UGC for your content. Carousels, you guys already know what that is. Photos, graphics, which can kind of be the same as pictures, but this is more like headlines, informational stuff, creative pieces that communicate value without you actually being on the camera. For example, Gary Vee does it a lot. He puts a lot of quotes on his page written in creative places relating to the quote, and he does it in a super creative way where he writes it in a notepad. For example, Alex Hormozy will make a picture like this, and that's a graphic. That's something that's user generated, but it's still just a graphic because he's not talking in the video. So talking heads, user generated content like skits, B-roll videos, the green screen stuff, photos, graphics, and carousels. If you can find a way to mix those up amongst your posting schedule, you'll be able to put out a lot more content. And here's a pro tip. If you start tweeting whenever you start having an idea that's related to your content and you start taking those tweets, you can pretty much use them in any form. Like I did in this carousel, like I do in this video, and like I did in this video. You can pretty much take tweets and turn them into any single type of graphic. So if you click on this video, trying to figure out how much you should be posting, hopefully this was a little bit of insight on how much you should be posting. Also some hacks and pro tips on how you can be more efficient and how you can commit to more content, because let's say you can't commit to doing a talking head every day. Maybe you can do one talking head, a tweet the next day, a picture the next day. It gives you more room without you actually having to go out and film it. So hopefully this helped. Once again, my name is Jude. My goal is to see less boring influencers in the world. If you have any topics that you want me to touch on, make sure you comment them below, and I will see you in the next one.